Hey there, it's Master D, and I wanted to talk to you about sales. A lot of people have bad connotation about sales. They think, oh, the used car salesman or the slimy, because Hollywood has portrayed salespeople and capitalists as greedy, as crooks, and really you'll find government and politicians and things are more than business people. At least with business, you have a choice not to do it. You have a choice. But if there's a crooked president for 4 years, I'm stuck with him. Okay, so are there bad business people? Are there bad sales? Of course, in anything you find. There'll be 10% or 5% of martial arts school owners are probably corrupt. 10% of every profession, even religious, are probably corrupt or have problems with integrity. That's just humans. That's just human beings. But you should be proud if you're a salesperson. That don't look at it as what Hollywood's trying to portray it as. Okay, salesman. By the way, the greatest salesman, and this is a book by Augmentino, a fellow Massachusetts guy. Really great book, and he said it's called The Greatest Salesman in the World, and it's Jesus Christ. So, I mean, think of how many followers, and it was 2,000 years ago or over, and still to this day, how many followers. So, we hold him in high regard, right? All right, think of other great salesmen in history, and I got some of this from Zig Ziglar, so I recommend reading his stuff. Great, very good. On secrets of closing the sale, but he talks about Christopher Columbus, how much of a sale. He was not a good navigator. Believe he was looking for India, and he ran, that's what we call native people Indians, but he ran into like southern Florida, the Bahamas, or something like that. So at that time, they didn't know the world was round like that, or they did, but they didn't realize there was land in between. So the navigation was poor, but for him to get those boats and finance those boats was an amazing act of selling and persuasion. Here's an Italian in Spain trying to, persuade Queen Isabella to, finance these boats. Another great salesman, George Washington. By the way, everybody's a salesman. You're selling your kids, you're selling your spouse, you're selling, everybody's persuading or selling. I mean, it's just what we do. Kids are always persuading you. They're the best salesmen, by the way, the kids, because they're so persistent. Why not? Dad. They're so constantly persistent. So another great salesman, George Washington. Tremendous salesman. Think about what he's telling the troops. You're up against the greatest army in the world, the British Army. If you win, I can't pay you. If you lose, they're going to hang you. Okay? Or I can barely pay you. We don't have a robust government. These were individual states. It wasn't like there was, they were putting together the big federal government, but it was tough to pay these guys. Half the time it was winter and cold and, ragtag, untrained troops. And yet he won enough battles to fight them off and get our independence. But what he had, there were so many dark days, especially Valley Forge and all that he had to persuade troops to just hang in there a little longer, just fight a little longer. And so Washington to this day, I mean, they wanted to make him king and he refused it. He that's not how our system works. And that's how much persuasiveness he had. And there was many guys smarter than him. Madison had a higher IQ. Jefferson had a higher IQ. Franklin had a higher IQ. Even Hamilton maybe. But they all wanted George. He's the man. He's the capital. He's almost every, state has a Washington in it or a city or a, he's the guy. So, so much of it was leading men and being persuasive. He had a goal in mind and quite a leader. So there's just so many. Mahatma Gandhi, you can look at him as a tremendous persuader for nonviolence. For Martin Luther King, a tremendous persuader in people, and they got changes done. So it's not just business. there's just so many. It's so important to be good at persuasion and persuading people. Just hang in there. How many times did Tom Brady have to make comebacks? Just hang in there, Tom. One more drive, we could tie this game up or win this game. All right, so coach is selling him, or Tom is selling the offensive line and the receivers. Just one more, drive, and we can do it. And we saw many times him do it. So this is where persuasiveness. So get good at it. Get good at these skills. Do you know that selling is the only profession that leads to revenue? Everything else leads to cost in business. So, and nobody's unemployed if they can bring in business. Recession, depression, if you can sell, if you can move merchandise, you're employed. So it's a great profession, and don't let regular jobs fool you. Everybody's on commission. If you don't produce at your job, eventually they're going to find someone who does. So in a way, everybody's on commission. If quarterback keeps throwing interceptions, look at poor Mac Jones. If he keeps throwing interceptions, he's going to be losing his job soon or traded. All right, but he's salaried. Well, he's going to lose that, or he's going to be on the breadline soon. So, so you have to produce. So you might as well do it with selling, where it's such a good job security. So it really is a good thing. Sales is a good thing. As long as it's an honest product at a fair price, it's a good thing to do. And we know the benefits of martial arts and selling that. And, be proud you sell it. Be firm in what you sell. And, all the best to you selling. So look at it differently. Don't look at it as being slimy or being being dishonest. As long as you're not dishonest about doing things, you got to be careful exaggerating. You got to be careful omitting things out. You got to be careful with stuff like that. But, definitely do that. You don't want to deceive anybody or manipulate anybody, but persuading people, oftentimes sometimes they'll say no, and that's N-O, because they don't K-N-O-W, no. You gave them, if you just keep saying, come on, buy this thing, they'll probably say, buzz off, man, you're annoying, and that's where a salesman can be annoying and overbearing. But if you give more information, did you know you can get a tax break doing this? Did you know that after 3 or 4 years, this comes in, or da-da-da-da-da? Well, why didn't you tell me that? All right, let's go ahead with this. So, you give them more knowledge, you maybe send them some extra material if they're a little stubborn at first, and you sit down with them a little longer, but they need to see an enthusiastic, someone who totally believes in their product to help them through the decision making. People are scared of making decisions. They think they'll make the wrong decision, then their friends and family will get on them. Well, I told you not to jump at the first thing. And, that's like, hell to people hearing that, from other people. So then they'll be really cautious the next time. So, so they need people to hold their hand, walk them through a decision, especially if there's a good sum of money involved or a good time period involved. The black belt's going to be 36 months. Okay, well, there's a time period involved. So they need a good professional to help them through. I hope this helps. Leave me some comments, and we'll see you on the next video.